Hello, Bumblebees. This is Teddy Baby Bear back with another episode of Shadows, the horror movie heroes by Clouds. My head in the clouds, not coming down. Chapter 22. Electra watched as the green shadow, Midoriya, glanced between Denki and the giant web of plans he'd drawn out on the wall. She knew that Denki didn't have the best control over his quirk. She'd been meaning to help him with it, but between hero work and everything else, it had just kept getting pushed down the list, and she hadn't gotten around to it yet. Yue would help him eventually, as well, but Denki had obviously been working on it a lot on his own too, if he could already produce 1,000,000 volts. She'd been mad, honestly, when Shadow stopped him before he had a chance to let off his move. It would have been a great way to take down the villains that had killed her, but Electra sighed and turned up the volume. Denki didn't even know that they were the ones that killed her. "There's no time," Midoriya said suddenly. Denki frowned and glanced toward the others. "No time for what?" "For you to learn hand-to-hand," Midoriya said, like it was obvious. "Your electricity surrounds your body like a shield, right?" "Right. And since you immediately went nuclear, I'm assuming you can't really shoot it out unless there's a lot of it. Hence the unsafely high voltage you tried attacking us with. So the best course of action is going to be to improve your combat skills so you can actually get close enough to shock your target without going over whatever limit you have to have. But," Midoriya shrugged uselessly, "but there's no time." For how little that boy had seen of Denki's quirk, his analysis was surprisingly accurate, even if she didn't necessarily agree on the course of action. Sure, Denki couldn't shoot out his electricity yet, but that didn't mean he wouldn't be able to. He just needed some more training, which he would get at UA. There was tons of time. "Izuku's right," the purple shadow, Shinso said, folding his arms as he leaned against the wall. "We have a lot of plans for today, and even though it'd be fun, we don't have time to hold your hands all day." The girl, Jiro, rolled her eyes. "You do realize we're not asking you to, right?" Shinso smirked. "Maybe we think you need it." "There's gotta be something we can do," Midoriya muttered. "There has to be some sort of attack that you can learn quickly, that uses a low enough voltage that you're not going all out every single time you fight. And we should take into account who you'll be working with. So maybe—" Midoriya's head jerked upwards and his eyes flicked rapidly between the other three. "Oh, that might work." Izuku?" Shinso huffed in amusement. "Care to share with the rest of the class?" Midoriya got a big grin on his face. "You're a brainwasher. Jiro can control people's emotions through their heartbeats. And electricity? Electricity controls the muscles." Izuku pointed at Denki. "Body," he pointed to Jiro. "Heart," and finally he pointed to Shinso. "And mind." Denki looked a little overwhelmed. "What?" "Come here," Midoriya waved him closer. "Let's experiment and see if this is even possible." Electra's jaw dropped as she watched Midoriya talk Denki through a new usage of his quirk. It wasn't something that she had ever considered, but would have so many applications in hero work if he could master it. Maybe her kid getting kidnapped by shadows wouldn't be all bad. Hanzu's murder was a dead end. Not that the students had figured that out yet. Nezu sipped his tea as he watched the students search for clues that the shadows hadn't left behind. It was a frustrating lesson in cold cases, but one that they would have to learn eventually. They were doing decently well, all things considered, even if there were perhaps opportunities for improvement. They needed to take a step back, for one, and look at the bigger picture. But they were scared and confused, so he wasn't going to grade them too harshly on that little detail. At least, not yet. While the second years were busy looking for things they wouldn't find, the shadows were once again proving that the staff shouldn't have underestimated them. It was impressive how quickly Midoriya had discovered the weaknesses of Kaminari's quirk, and the way he had used the other's two quirks as inspiration had just been positively delightful. Nezu took another sip of tea and smirked when he realized that Aizawa was glaring at him. It didn't surprise him that Aizawa had noticed his excitement. In fact, Nezu would have been disappointed if he hadn't caught on. After a moment, Aizawa heaved a sigh. "You can read those plans on the wall, can't you?" Oh, mostly. Nezu set down his cup. Midoriya's annotation technique could be improved to make it a bit more concise and easy to understand, especially when he is working on a team, but his intent is clear enough for the most part. And you're already making personalized lesson plans for him? Aizawa groaned. I wish I was surprised, but I'm really not. Nezu chuckled. As if you're not doing the same. Two heroes who focus on stealth and logical ruses. I'm surprised I haven't seen adoption papers already. I've been busy, Aizawa rolled his eyes. What do you think of their methods? They're no more non-traditional than yours, Racerhead, Nezu pointed out. Although, I am curious as to how they plan to apply these tactics to hero work. Assuming that that is their plan, I'd love to pick their brains after this whole thing is over. Ah, it looks like they're splitting up again. Aizawa narrowed his eyes. I would have thought they'd stay together a little longer. Not if they want to be ready for tomorrow, Nezu giggled with excitement. There's just too much to do. So, Dinky broke the silence as they walked away from the apartment. What do you think of the shadows? They're creepy as hell, but they're good at what they do, Kyoka said. I just wish I knew what they were after. One minute they're killing heroes, and the next they're agreeing to train us for no other reason than Midoriya finds our quirks interesting. And I still haven't seen them go after a single objective. Kaminari stopped walking. Wait, really? I thought you guys were after the ransom money. Kyoka paused to collect her thoughts. No, they had other goals. And even if they didn't, the heroes ended up with the objective anyway. So it doesn't even matter. Kaminari hummed. I wonder what their goal was. No idea, Kyoka said quickly. Those two are a mystery. How much farther? I think it's just down that stairwell up ahead. Kaminari glanced at his phone. Yeah, it looks like that's the place Shadows described. Alright then. Kyoka sighed and started down the stairs. Let's get this over with. She pushed open the door and her eyes zeroed in on the guy at the counter, who looked up as they came in. Well, hello there. How can I help you? We need weapons, Kaminari grinned. Some friends of ours told us you're the place to go. The guy had a wicked glint in his eyes. Well then, your friends told you right. What can I get for you? It feels kind of weird betraying our friends, Izuku sighed, as he added a few more scribbles to his mad scientist wall. I mean, I know we haven't known them for very long, and it was always the plan to either get them turned in or kill them, but it still feels kind of underhanded, you know? It's not like they're actually our friends, Hitoshi pointed out. They only trust us in this exercise because we're all acting like villains, and they don't know you're quirkless. The minute this is all over, they're going to hate us, just like everyone else. Probably, Azuku shrugged. I wish it could be different, though. They're fun, and they've both got such cool quirks. You think everyone has cool quirks, Hitoshi said. I don't know. I like them just fine, but it's easier to get close to someone when I know that I'm going to be the one betraying them. Izuku gave him a look. That's kind of sad. But you get it, Hitoshi said. Unfortunately, yes. Izuku turned back to his planning. After everyone that's hurt us, it's kind of nice to know that they won't stab us in the back, if only because we'll be the ones to turn on them first. Yep, but we don't know exactly when Shin will turn them in, so we still have a couple of days to make use of them. Hitoshi nodded and grabbed the backpack that had his villain outfit. Anyway, you've got the Hata Bros, and I've got the gang, right? Right. Zuko hurried over to his laptop and pulled out a flash drive. This should turn off the alarms while notifying the heroes. Just, don't tell them about that little fun fact. Hitoshi smirked. Wouldn't dream of it. There were exactly 0 clues, and it was totally beyond frustrating. They'd been searching all night for Hanzu's murderer, and there was absolutely nothing to point towards whoever killed him. Even the security camera footage was a dead end. It had been looped right before Hanzu had disappeared to find a lost child, and they hadn't been able to find him on the campus any time after that. They didn't even have a time of death to narrow it down. I don't know, guys, Ogawa grimaced. Maybe we should focus on finding the other villains. We can't just abandon him, Nezure gasped. Yeah, Shindo agreed. What about revenge? Heroes shouldn't be obsessed with that kind of stuff. Desiree frowned and turned to Mirio. You've been oddly quiet. What's going on in that crazy head of yours? Mirio startled. It's nothing. It's obviously not nothing, Desiree rolled her eyes. So come on, spill. Mirio hesitated. It's just. Do you remember that phone call we got? The one that told us about the ransom objective? We don't know if we can trust them, Amajiki argued. But they did have good information, Mirio hummed. And that means they might know something about who killed Hanzu. Well, then why didn't you say so before? Shindo said. Let's call them. Mirio's shoulders slumped. Yeah, I think that's our only option. Izuku smiled when his phone rang, and he saw Togoda's number on the caller ID. He put on a nervous voice as he answered. Hello? Hi there, Togoda's voice echoed over the receiver. I'm sorry to call you, but I was hoping you had some information for me. Izuku's smile turned into a full grin. Hook, line, and sinker. And that wraps up Chapter 22 of Shadows, the horror movie Heroes by Clouds, My Head in the Clouds Not Coming Down. Read for you by Teddy BB Bear. Thank you guys so much for listening, and restful hibernation to you all. Bye-bye.